Morning, everybody. This is the professor, back with a new episode of Student Advice. I gotta pull up a window here for my content. So here's the deal. I've been doing this for a long time. And one of the things that surprises me, especially at the college level, is how many students don't know how to take an exam. Don't know how to take a multiple choice exam. We'll talk about essays and stuff at a different time, but I'm going to start with multiple choice. So, in my classes, I end up posting this thing called exam tactics. Maybe that's what we'll call this video. So, I go through it, and I'm going to share it with you here. So, forgive me if this sounds a little canned. I'm working off an actual post from one of my classes, but you'll get the point. So many students have exam anxiety, so a talk about strategy may be helpful. Let's walk through the hypothetical exam question together. So let's say I live in, let's pick a spot, northern tip of Idaho. I don't actually live there, but we'll go with it. So the professor wants to build his kids a tree swing. Select the best tree for the job. A, banana palm. B, long needle pine. C, asparagus. D, red oak. Now on the surface you might say, I don't know anything about trees. I don't know anything about botany. I don't know how to answer this question. You might be completely stumped. You might be tempted to guess. So I'm going to tell you to stop right there. Guessing, at this point you've got a 1 in 4 shot, and you're probably going to be wrong. Pure mathematics says you're probably going to be wrong and you've wasted your time. The other thing is, most of the time, and professors don't necessarily tell you this, but let's say you have an hour to take the exam. Take the hour. It's not a race. There's no bonus points for being the first person done. I'll talk more about that towards the end, hopefully. But so if you got your initial reaction, say, I don't know anything about this, but I want to tell you, you probably know more than you think you do. So, for example, in this case, we're talking about building a swing. Logically, the swing should be safe for kids. In our example here, the professor lives in northern Idaho, so that could be a potential factor. So if you need, write the things you know down. Write down a swing should be safe. Professor lives here. Things that are accessible, not accessible. Step 2, look at the answer. Look at them. Find out what you can safely exclude and which items require further scrutiny. So, part A. Think about the banana palm. It gets cold in northern Idaho. Palm tree probably wouldn't fare well there. You might be able to build a swing out of a banana palm. I don't know. I don't live in the tropics. But we can also assume that it's probably going to die in a cold winter. So let's exclude that. Part B, think about the pine. We know pines grow well in northern climates, but it probably wouldn't make for a comfortable swing. Needles hurt, and while it may work, probably isn't the best. Maybe set it off to the side for now. C, asparagus. Asparagus isn't a tree, it's a vegetable. This is a nonsense answer. Most multiple choice questions have at least one nonsense answer that you can eliminate right away. D, think about the oak. Oaks grow well in northern climates. They survive winter. They have strong branches. They don't have needles or thorns. They don't tend to be sticky and sappy like pine trees. This is probably a safe choice. Step 3, make a decision. So let's look at part A. Pine might work. The oak is probably the better choice. Let's lean towards the oak. Let's just, maybe put our pencil next to it. Step 4, confirm and review. Use your answer to make a declarative statement. The professor should use the red oak to build a safe tree swing for the kids. Ask yourself if it makes sense. If it makes sense, if it's logical, you've probably picked the correct answer, and in this case you have. Does this process make sense? It should. It's a pretty workable strategy. Do you think you can use it on exams? Yeah, this is what I did in school when I was stumped or wasted time and didn't study the right material. Do you think this will yield better results than guessing? Undoubtedly. Even if you can only eliminate asparagus, you're down to 1 in 3, and by definition, by math, 1 in 3 is better than 1 in 4. So I want you to think about that. I want you to really think about it. When you're given a multiple choice answer, there's one thing we know beyond a shadow of a doubt. The right answer's there. It's there. You just have to identify it. Earlier in this video, I talked about taking the time, and I'm going to share something connected to multiple choice exams that really bothers the stuffing out of me. In the classes I teach, we routinely allow, say, an hour for a 20 or a 30 question multiple choice exam. So that means you've got a couple minutes per question. You can work that strategy for every single question and not run out of time. So do I see a bunch of exams submitted at 49, 52, 57 minutes? No. Quite often I see exams submitted after 2 minutes, 4 minutes. Hell, sometimes I even see exams submitted after 47 or 32 seconds. In cases like that, you're just taking a handful of seconds per exam question. And I want you to think about this. I want you to think about this seriously, students, because this is important. Let's say at work, somebody comes in for an interview. Your interview has a set number of questions to it, and you see this person blow through their interview in 47 seconds. Number one, are they going to get that job? No. Did they give a pretty good interview? No. They didn't give any effort at all. Did their answers make sense? No. You can't make sense in 47 seconds, not in a situation like that. And the same thing is true of exams. And I tell my students this all the time. If you were in one of my classes, you would see this. I've been studying this material pretty much my whole life. Well, over 20 years. I wrote the test. Not only did I write the test, I have the answers. Okay? I'm the teacher, and I have everything I need to get a perfect score on my own exam. And if I wouldn't take the test in 47 seconds or 2 minutes or 4 minutes, there's no reason for you to take it that fast. And I'm dead serious here. It is not a race. If your instructor goes to the grade center and looks up and sees that Susie's student completed a 30-question exam in 1 minute and 15 seconds, in their head, they're immediately going, wow, Susie doesn't care. Susie's not invested. Passing is the furthest thing from Susie's mind, and she's not a serious student. So you've already torpedoed your relationship with your professor. Sometimes, on the very first test, your professor is at that point less inclined to care about you. Sorry, they may not want me to say that. The professors out there watching these videos might be shocked and aghast, but if they're really honest, in their mind they're going, you know what? Yeah, student turns in a test after 47 seconds. That really tells me they don't care, and I don't need to pay attention to them. Really, that's honest to God truth. It means you're not invested. You don't care. You're not trying. They could probably write you off. And do you want to tell your professor that? Are you going to walk in day one and go, hey, just so you know, I'm not really here. I don't care. I'm just cashing a student aid check. I don't care if I pass this class or not. It doesn't mean anything to me. Is that what you're saying? No. So I'm begging you. Students, if you're watching this, I am begging you. And professors, if you're watching this, tell your students, slow the flip down. There is no reason under the sun to submit an exam after 47 seconds. There's no reason to take 2 minutes on a 20-question exam. Can you really read and answer 10 questions a minute? No, you can't. Slow down. Read the question. Make sure you understand it. Don't make an assumption. Read the question. Make sure you understand it. Then actually read the answers. Then work through those strategies. Don't just go, guess. That's ridiculous. You cannot do well. You will not do well racing through exams. There is no bonus. There is no prize for finishing first. There is no reward for going that fast. What you're really doing is hurting yourself and damaging your reputation. So slow down. Work the strategies. Read the question and read the answers. I'm begging you. I'm repeating myself here. I am begging you. Read the question and read the answers. Work the strategies and then review. Go back through it. If you find yourself finished in 10 minutes, you can bet yourself you probably got something wrong or missed something or maybe even just made a lucky guess. But if you're given 45 minutes or an hour, take the time. Promise me. Promise yourself. I mean, you don't care about me. Promise yourself you're going to invest in yourself and do a good job. Because I'm telling you, I've said it before, I'll say it again. As a professor, as a teacher, I don't want to see a 1-minute exam attempt. And I'll tell you, the last thing here is it makes me sick to my stomach as a teacher, as a professional, and as someone who just likes the material. It makes me sick to my stomach to see you roll up, give me a 47-second exam attempt, and then get, a 32% on your exam, and then come back a week later and go, boy, I'm really concerned. I really want to bring my grades up. You know what your professor is thinking. We've covered that. And you're going to ask, what can I do to bring up, professor, what can I do to bring up my grades? And this is something I've always wanted to tell a student, but I can't. But the real thing we want to tell you is to go back in time, build a time machine, go back in time and kick your own butt, because there is no excuse to submit an exam after 1 minute or 2 minutes. Take a minute per question. Do yourself a favor. Set that as a good place to start, especially on a baseline level course. Take a minute a question. Invest in yourself, because if you come rolling in the end of a course and your average exam time is 1 minute and 10 seconds, what your professor really wants to say to you is build a time machine, go back in time, and kick your own butt because you did it to yourself. Sounds mean, I know. Sounds harsh, I know. But that is what your professor is thinking. So this ended up way longer than I wanted, but obviously this is something I see way more often than I should. So slow down, work your strategies, and show that you care. All right, have a good day, everybody.